Welcome everyone. I put together this video to show everyone the accuracy of the RFB and a little bit of experience with Kel-Tec in their customer service. So for a couple of years I've always wanted to own an RFB rifle, as I am a bullpup fanboy. Sorry guys, I just am. I'm biased in that aspect, but when it comes to accuracy, no, I'm not. I'm not biased on accuracy. Just because the rifle is pretty and I like it and I like the balance doesn't mean that I'm going to falsely post up information about the accuracy of the rifle. So in my opinion, if you're going to be spending $1,500 to $2,000 on a rifle, it better not shoot like crap. Sorry, just have to put that out there. So before I purchased the RFB, since it is one of the only .308 rifles out there that is a bullpup design, that's currently on the market, I should say, I could never really find viable evidence of the accuracy of the rifle. I just found claims and pictures here and there. Some say sub-MOA, some say 4 to 5 MOA if you're lucky. It is a FAL bolt design, guys. Take that in consideration. So the sub-MOA is kind of hard to swallow. The 1.5 MOA was also hard to swallow. It's like, yeah, I know FAL rifles are capable of better than 4 MOA. So of course I picked up a rifle and grabbed as many types of ammunition as I could find. My initial tests weren't so good. I ended up throwing the targets away. I was just irritated about the situation. I can tell you my hand loads were getting 3 MOA, Remington core locks were getting 3 MOA, and Perfecto was getting about 5 to 6 MOA. So it wasn't desirable. Was not impressed with the system. Could I work it down? I don't know. These tests were done in a lead sled, guys. I took the human factor out as much as possible. So it wasn't looking very hopeful. Pulled some chamber specs. The barrel was out of spec. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I contacted Kel-Tec and explained to them the situation. They did assure me that the rifle was capable of much better accuracy than when I was performing or reporting. And they advised me just to send it back and they'll repair it and evaluate it. The initial repair didn't go so well. 2 weeks into it, they sent it back to me and it was not resolved. The issue was just not resolved, we'll put it that way. Second time around, I contacted one of the customer service reps, spoke to him, and he sent me a label, a return label, so I didn't have to pay return shipping again since the issue was not initially resolved. This repair did take a while. It took 1.5 months, but I didn't care about the length of time so long as the problem was resolved. So he did as best as he could to keep me up to date on the status of the rifle throughout the endeavor. Once I received it back, I purposefully did not put this rifle into a lead sled. I wanted to test it more in a real-world environment. Say if you took it hunting and you just put it on a stand or shooting sticks or something like that. So I only used sandbags on the front end of the rifle, nothing on the rear. So that puts the human element vastly into play with this kind of test. Also, the scope I was using was an ATN X sight so that you could see the video recording of what I was seeing through the scope. So you can see I wasn't snatching shots or anything like that. And that reticle is about 1 MOA. So getting anything better than 1 MOA out of a 1 MOA reticle is pretty hard. And again, the human factor on top of that. So I wanted to see what it would do in a real world environment. I expected 2 to 3 MOA with this kind of a setup. Previously, I was getting 3 MOA out of a lead sled, which was unacceptable. To better evaluate the tests, I also, later on in the day, after finishing the ATN tests, popped on my primary arms 1 through 14 scope, which has a chevron that's about 1/2 inch at the tip at 100 yards. So this should bring in the groups. This is where I was expecting to get about 1.5 MOA, and I say that because it is a FAL design. I don't expect sub-MOA out of this rifle. It's an 18-inch barrel, it's an FAL design, it's a gas-operated system. You're going to suffer accuracy for reliability and performance in that aspect of things. So take that in consideration, guys. Alright, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and get to the video and see for yourself.
Okay, here we go. Kel-Tec RFB.
Not bad.
100 yards.
I'll do better with
Perfecta 5-shot group.
So as you guys can see from the actual shot group here, the grouping is 2.7 MOA, so close to 3 MOA with Perfecta. So obviously we see a substantial increase in accuracy from the previous 6 to 7 MOA before the repairs were performed. So definitely nice to see this.
Okay, we've got I'm sorry, not Perfecta, this is Federal XM ADC, equivalent to 765-51 NATO, RFB, 100 yards. I'm going to aim a little high because my Perfecta group is pretty much on the bullseye. So we'll go for the number 9.
Okay, so if we take a look at this group, we don't see any improvements. The micrometer only goes out to 6.120, so I can't get it any larger. The actual group was larger than that. It was bordering that 7 MOA, which is what we were experiencing during the first shot grouping before the repairs were done. So no substantial improvements here, nothing to really talk about, not really expected. I've never had good luck with this ammunition anyway.
Alright, 100 yards, RFB. This is Remington Corlocks. This is what Kel-Tec said. Getting 1 MOA. So, my dot is 1 MOA. Give me the right info. I'm going to aim for the neck at the 7. check the group, see what we got.
Alright, so what we see here is the Remington core lock group. It's bordering kind of that just over 3 MOA, close to 3.5. Not really seeing an improvement on this. You know, Kel-Tec said that this ammunition they performed their testing was getting 1 or around 1 MOA. So I didn't see that in this particular test. Again, we are using a 1 MOA ATN X sight scope, digital night vision, so you can see it. So that may be part of the reason. So we're not seeing an improvement. So I'm getting a little worried at this point, but we'll continue on with the test and see kind of what the other rounds do and what it does with maybe a different scope on it that has a fine reticle on it.
This is Hornady Whitetail RFB, 100 yards. I'm going to aim a little low on this one. Actually, I'll aim a little bit to the right. I'll aim at the 8. See what we get out of this.
Okay, so in this video I did the Hornady Whitetail specifically, and you can see the group is very close to that 5 MOA mark, which is actually surprising from Hornady products. The previous test before the repairs, I was using competition Hornady loads. I was not using the Whitetail, so it's not really a fair comparison with the Hornady stuff, but I was honestly expecting a better group closer to what I was getting before the repairs. Seeing that the group has gotten worse, it's a little concerning to me at this point. But again, we still have some more ammo to test, and we'll see if maybe the RFB can redeem itself on accuracy.
Okay, 100 yards. This is P3. The RFB. I'm going to aim I'm going to go far to the right on the 7.
You got, okay, what do you think?
Didn't cycle. Left a little bit.
Okay, so as you guys saw from the video, very impressive on this. It was originally grouping 2.5 to 3 MOA for the PMC before the repairs. Now we're getting about 2 inches with a 1 MOA reticle, keep that in mind. So very, very promising with this load. We've got 4 rounds stacked on top of each other despite that one flyer. Very, very impressed. You noticed 2 short cycles at the end. I think that's when either the gas system was getting dirty, I did not open it up, or it could just be that the PMC is a little bit lower in velocity. So I didn't touch the gas system, I didn't open it up to clean it out or to open the gas system to allow more gas through it to see if maybe the other rounds that we had left to test would perform well. But despite that, the gas system can easily be adjusted to the round that you're shooting. So the short cycles don't bother me.
Okay guys, 100 yards, MFS, RFB, 7 at the neck. See what accuracy we get. This is going to be the last group shot. And then I'm going to switch to a different scope and see if I get any better accuracy.
Okay, let's see.
Pull that one to the right. That ammo's a lot hotter.
Okay, so this ammunition is MFS. It is a steel casing, nickel coated case. This is the first time I've shot this ammunition. I've never heard of it before. It's just a cheap little box that I found when I was gathering up all the ammunition I was going to test for the rifle. Certainly don't recommend it. Obviously it's steel. Only put 5 rounds to the rifle so far. Don't think I'm going to use it again. Mostly because it was substantially hotter. You could really feel the recoil difference between your brass case and your steel cased ammo. It was just charged much heavier than the brass case. Didn't see an increase in in accuracy. It wasn't anything substantial. Obviously it's cheap ammo, so we're about 4.5 MOA, which isn't too bad for steel cased ammo such as Wolf and Tula and things like that. So it did decent for what it is and for how cheap it was on top of that. So, if you like shooting steel, if you're okay with shooting steel, then this may be some kind of ammunition that you may use to plink around with at a short ranges or something of that nature. But this was just kind of a little test that I would see how it would perform, but not too bad being steel cased. Alright, so at this point was where I decided to go ahead and validate the previous shot groups from the ATN scope. I wanted to put a conventional scope on the rifle. So I switched back to the Primary Arms 4 through 14 by 44 HUD ACSS reticle. This thing has a chevron tip that is about 1/2 inch at 100 yards. Very, very clear glass. So I wanted to see how the rifle would perform and if I would see a reduction in my group sizes at the same range with the different and conventional scope, I should say. So stay tuned and check this out. Okay, so on this test, I only did 4 shots. We were kind of running a little bit late in the day. The range was getting kind of ready to close, and everybody was starting to pack up. So I wanted to cut down just by pulling only a 4-shot group rather than a 5-shot throughout the rest of the tests. As you can see, the group actually got worse. It's close to that 5 MOA mark. Now, before the repairs were done, the rifle was doing 6 to 7 with this Perfecta ammunition. So it's still better. But I was actually surprised. I was expecting to see a little bit less group size, a little bit tighter of a group with a conventional scope. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. However, can't necessarily blame the rifle on this. This is very, very cheap ammo. So the previous test, I may have just gotten lucky with 5 bullets that were loaded consistently with each other. So in this group, I was actually very impressed. This is very close to what Kel-Tec was telling me they were getting from the Remington core locks. The previous shot group with the ATN scope may have just been a fluke. It may have been I just had poor bullets that I pulled out of the package. They weren't loaded consistently with each other. But when I flipped over to the conventional scope, rather than with the ATN scope, I was getting almost 3.5. Now I'm getting close to that 2 MOA mark. Kel-Tec was saying about 1 or around 1 inch. So it's still not quite what they were saying, but then again, taking into consideration this is shooting from a sandbag, not a lead sled. So with the lead sled, I would definitely expect that performance of about 1 inch or 1 MOA. So definitely we're headed in the right track with the accuracy of this rifle, especially with this load. So guys, this is what I was looking for throughout the tests. 1.5 MOA on sandbags, no lead sled. With a lead sled, there's no doubt this would be 1 MOA or even sub MOA. This PMC stuff, the rifle loves it, absolutely does. Now, the one thing I will say, I still had short cycles with this PMC, so I think it's just loaded lighter, and that's the reason why I was having a little bit of that short cycling issue even within this test. No big deal, the gas system can be adjusted to this, but guys, this is the accuracy that I was hoping to see. Okay, so as you see in this shot group, it's not impressive. It's about on par with the ATN scope. I was expecting a little bit better accuracy, but I didn't get it out of this load. The rifle just may not like it. I don't know. I'm surprised that that Hornady is performing this poorly. Never had that experience with their products before in their ammunition. So a little disappointed, but again, every rifle likes a different load. It seems to like PMC, so for this RFB, I can't stick Hornady whitetail through it. Maybe the match grade stuff will do something a little different, better accuracy. We'll see in the future. Alright guys, so I want to apologize for that long delay in between the third and the fourth shot. I didn't cut out any of that dead area because I wanted you guys to see the unedited, uncut footage of that all the way through. I had a sandbag malfunction, so I had to get it all set back up again and roll from there. But as you guys see from the group here, it's about the same as the ATN scope group. It's beyond what the micrometer can measure. For some reason I thought this was PMC, and then I thought it was Hornady, and when I reviewed the footage, I went back in and noticed that, okay, this was not the PMC or the Hornady, so I had to make an adjustments of what is written on that target there. So this is definitely the Federal stuff. Not impressed with it, didn't expect much out of it. I expected, maybe closer to around 5 inches, but not so much. It's still over that 6 inch, 6.5 MOA. So not impressed with it at all. The RFB just doesn't like this particular type of round. Okay, so as you guys see here, this is my hand load. Now I only had 3 rounds made up, so I wasn't able to do the 4-shot group on this. I literally had 3 bullets and that was it. So you're seeing a 168 grain Hornady AMAX over top of 41 grains of IMR 3031. I wasn't expecting too great of accuracy out of this because Kel-Tec had already warned me that the 168 grains didn't perform very well. They were only able to get 1.5 MOA out of that particular bullet weight. Anything over or under works fine. I was expecting a little bit better accuracy, but that could also be my load. So I can adjust the charge to hopefully dial in the group's size a little bit more, get it a little bit more accurate. So, but not too concerning as I'm not going to use this round very often. Okay, so with this load, it's again one of my hand loads. It's a 150 grain Hornady full metal jacket boat tail. Nothing super special. It's over top of the same charge. It's a 41 grains of IMR 3031. This is the load what I was interested in seeing. And as you can see, it's a nice group. It is a 3-shot group. I do apologize. I only made 3 rounds, but it is 1.5. So 1.5 MOA, I was expecting that, again, shooting from a sandbag, not a lead sled. No doubt that I'll be able to dial this in with a variable charge and get the groups much tighter, and with a lead sled even get it sub MOA. So definitely impressed. This rifle is doing so much better than what it was before the repairs got done. So kudos on Kel-Tec taking the time to actually get the issues resolved. This is the round that I'm going to be working on the most, and one of the reasons why I bought the RFB to begin with is to be able to use my hand loads of this nature and this charge weight. So definitely stoked about that. Okay, so next up is just a little fun I was having at the end of the day. Decided to take this out to 300 yards and see how one of the crappier ammunition shot, just a 5-shot group with Perfecta, just having a little fun before I closed up for the end of the day. Just wanted to kind of close out the notes. The Kel-Tec definitely fixed the RFB's accuracy, in my opinion. I don't really care about much of the factory stuff. The PMC was fantastic, so obviously that's something I'll be using if I want to pick up a box of ammo, but I do most of my reloading. Previously, my groups were, 2.5, 3 MOA. They got me down to 1.5, 2 MOA. I'm happy with that with sandbags. It's not a problem. It's a gas-operated system, and it's an 18-inch barrel. It's not like I'm going to push it past 800 yards, and 1.5 MOA, 2 MOA, that's good enough for what the application of the rifle is going to be used for. So definitely impressed with it. If you have a chance to get an RFB, I definitely recommend it. If you have issues, obviously Kel-Tec's going to help you get that fixed.